This is OSArch's monthly meetup. Today we have Yousheng Wang, or Yoush, who is the creator of the IFC Toolbox. He will be presenting for us, which has got a few different tools brought together from different open source projects to help us deal with making better IFC files. He's a graduate in civil engineering from Wuhan and from France.
Yes.
Public Works School in Paris. And it's been working on digitalization and construction for a while now, and going out on his own, doing interesting stuff. So Yush, I will let you take over the screen. How long would you like to present for? And then we'll have a discussion.
I maybe take 40 minutes maximum.
That sounds great.
For the presentation, and after that, I think we can discuss some of the detail in the channel. I start to shine.
Would you like people to wait with their questions, or can we just jump in?
You can jump in. You can jump in any kind of time. It depends on you. It's okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Go for it. I look forward to hearing about the project.
Hi everyone, thanks for you joining us today, and I'm very happy to have you there. I'm very amazed by the interest you put in the IFC Toolbox in those past days, and thank you Ioannis for reaching out to me and organize this meetup. I will briefly introduce myself, then I will take you through our IFC Toolbox experience from concept to application and from design to implementation. So first, basically, I'm an engineer-based developer. I have done 4 years study of civil engineering in Wuhan University, and I got my master's degree in civil engineering from ESTP, École Spéciale Travaux Publics in Paris, France. After that, I work as a software developer now and focus on some development related to OpenBIM. What is IFC Toolbox? IFC Toolbox actually started in January this year. Basically, it's a collection of tools for simplify the basic IFC related operation in daily work. It's a .NET library, open resourced in GitHub. Also, we made a free GUI desktop application with the same name in Microsoft Store for no-code user. Let's talk about why IFC Toolbox is created. I think we see a lot of innovations and creations in this industry in each single day. But in this daily work for the daily work in engineer and architect, for most of time, we're actually facing simple problems. It's come over and over. 5 years ago, I jumped into this industry as an engineer. So at the very beginning, it's kind of hard for me. I have searched how to convert a single model to 3D format, like maybe FBX or OBJ. I have searched a lot for how to align models from 2 different coordinate systems. I have searched a lot of things, how to split certain part of IFC model. And after all these years, those questions still there. Still a lot of people who searching an answer for those basic questions. So that's why I start this project, IFC Toolbox, to automate the basic tasks related to IFC. And I know lots of people or engineer with who don't have a skill for coding. So for Power App, no code user, we created the GUI application. For me, there is no need to make everyone to become a developer to get the job done. Maybe just go ahead, become a better engineer or better architect. And for me, we believe in OpenBIM. We hope that by solving these basic problems, we are actually pushing the industry a little forward. Let's talk about the IFC Toolbox. We have been working on our first 5 tools: IFC optimizer for optimize IFC files, converter for converter IFC to other formats, splitter for split IFC things, IFC by 6 different ways, and the relocator for relocate IFC coordinate system, and the anonymizer for anonymize user-related information or some specific product-related information. Let's jump into the first tool, IFC Optimizer. IFC Optimizer is a tool for reduce the size of large IFC files by optimizing duplication entities in the resource layer. And it provides a float point rounding option for geometry data. First, we need to know why there is duplication entities in IFC files. Theoretically, with IFC data schema, different products should be able to share the same information, same resource information, and use the same entity, like product A and product B can share the same location. And we could create only one entity for the location information and use it for both product A and B. This made IFC file actually very friendly to storage space. But when we look at the IFC result files, maybe exported by different software, it seems like the elements were written one by one. And that's saying for each product which using the same resource, for example, a point with 000, the entity will be created for each product. And this will lead a lot of duplication in the resource layer. Actually, it's not kind of wrong. It's kind of normal because I understand. We understand it because maybe it's caused by the computer's memory limit. Maybe it's just because some performance reason. But for sure, this kind of duplication can be optimized. So let me give you a little example. This is actually a little part of a sample file made in Revit 2021, and it's have only 2 sample walls in this file. If we look at the entity 285, which represents the IFC local placement of this sample wall standard case, we can break down each entity referenced by 285. We can see there is 3 entities has the same data, but with a different entity label. 136, 147, and 31. According the IFC data schema, we should be able to use only one entity for those 3. So like this, we could use only 147 to replace all location which refers maybe 136 and 31. Even if we remove those entity from this file, all data remains the same. And actually, for this still small file, just have 2 words. It's not just those 2 entities. Actually, we got six entity with the same data. Yes. So it's just a small file. If we look into a normal file, let's take the Revit architecture sample project, which only have 30.1 megabytes. It's actually have 58 times for the same point 000. And we are not done yet. This duplication merge process actually can be done reversively in all related entities. If we replace all those point 000 by only entity 6, we will see 448 entities of IFC X2 placement 3D have the same value. So round by round, one round by round, until the end, it's hard to say how many duplication exist in all related entities in such a small file. And guess what? The result is 34,075. And if we nearly removed 40% of the original file size. And the real magic is in this process, and with the native IFC file, there is zero data loss. It's exactly the same one before the optimization, and just without duplication entities. And last, for IFC optimizer we provide a float point rounding for geometry data with adjustable precision. Have you guys seen this kind of number in your IFC file? It looks strange because in this two-wall sample, there is no such float number. It should be looks like the right one. What happened? It's because Revit has two systems of units, one for display and another one for storage. Even you see only integers in your Revit interface, the actual data still is a double number, and it's in imperial in it. For more detail, you can just read this blog from Jeremy, the building coder from Autodesk. And just to be clear, it's not only related to Revit. If you done multi-time import, export, convert between software, it may happen too. It may happen to your IFC. And the problem is when you are using a reference point, which is far away from the project elements, all those float point number will cause a geometrical damage. Your geometry, your 3D is damaged by this different small different difference. So the FPR FPR's float point rounding optimization is all about round exponential data in all points and also the point list entity if you are using an IFC4 file. And the next tool is IFC Relocator. It helps to relocate the IFC world coordinate system and the project coordinate system by input your location value directly or just sample align one file to another. And the objective is to provide a way for quickly repair the model offset caused by different export or origin point. I think every BIM manager has been confronted such a problem. How to fix the federation problem when model comes from different coordinate system. The normal process for solving this is one, find out which model is going wrong using a different reference point than others. Maybe to reopen your design, reopen your original project file in your design tool and then change the configuration to the same as others. And after that, at least relaunch your export, which usually is extremely time consuming. And this will be more horrible if you don't have the original. Imagine that if you don't have the original project file, or you just don't have the correct version of the design software. This is what I have been experienced when I worked as an engineer more than once. So if we process this with native IFC file, it takes only 2 seconds, and you are ready to go. I need to mention that for now, it's not quite completed because currently we take care of the world coordinate system from IFC project, and we take care of the object placement from IFC seat. But for the georeferencing patch with the element IFC map conversion entity, it's still under development. If you want to know more, I highly recommend this article from Mr. Diomot. And actually, this is the one got me understood the coordinate system in IFC files and how it works. And here is the warning. please stop manually modify IFC files as plain text directly. Truth is, I have heard several times this kind of little secret to fix a model that it's not in your, maybe it's not in your expected position. It's like open your IFC as plain text and find the IFC project entity, and you replace the something reference to its reference to a dollar sign. It's kind of dangerous, and you cannot be sure that will work every single time. So please avoid this kind of hacking. It's important to provide a better data quality for everyone. And here is the result of align two models which exported from the project, one from the project-based point and one from the topographic point. And you can see the result is the project file is relocated to the same position as the topographic point. After that, the next tool is IFC Splitter. It's made for extract only information, the information you need from IFC database, and it provides 6 different ways to extract the information. Split by object is based on IFC product entities. You will have a classic hierarchy for selecting the objects, and the second one is split by type of your IFC entity. For some reason, maybe you will need only one part or only structural elements in the building. And in this case, you can quickly extract all related types and working on a subset of a big project. And the data only option is made for some data analytic purpose, maybe, and which extracts all property site and quantity takeoff without the geometry information. And all other options is based on space container in the IFC hierarchy, like IFC seat, IFC building story. Here is an example and the result by splitting by level. I take the same example for Revit architecture sample. It's just split this one file to 6 by 6 different level. And then it's IFC converter. It's for convert IFC file to other formats. Here is it. IFC converter actually is based on IFC OpenShell CI tool, IFC Convert, which definitely is a great tool. Just have 57 options available. This is great, but to be honest, you can sometimes get lost with all those configurations because there is a lot of details that need to be noticed, and a lot of different cases. Plus, there is a lot of options related to the target format, like something is only working for DAO and Collada, and something is working only for SVG. So it's quite complex. So for make this a little bit easier, we created this tool with for now 33 options webbed in current release. And we made the type filter for simplify all of those details in include and exclude specification. And what's more is we made a dynamic option group based on the target format selected by user. Like the left one, we chose OBJ. You can see there is an option use Y app. It's only for OBJ. And for the right side, you can see there is a lot of SVG options and SVG lines, additional options. So, and the last tool is IFC Anonymizer, which is a tool made for simplify model summation in bidding activities or design competitions. Here is the guide I copied from Building Smart France website. Travailler en IFC means working with IFC files. And I made this English translation. It's just listed all those entities which may have personal information needed to anonymize if the anonymization is required. So here is the real situation from a BIM coordinator from ENIA architect in France. She said when dealing with the anonymization of IFC files, we usually open the IFC file with Note or Notepad, delete or replace some sensitive words, especially the person who actually did the export, because usually it's associated with your user account. And the file's location, which may contains the computer ID or company's name. The problem is each time when we deleted content in this way, if we don't pay attention, it may damage the IFC file. Moreover, if the IFC file is quite large, it's hard it cannot be opened in Notepad at all. So this process it takes a lot of time, and it happens again and again. For make this task a little bit easier, and for avoid manual modification of IFC file as plain text, which is very dangerous, like I said earlier. So we made this tool, IFC Anonymizer, which has two parts. The first one is for anonymize all user-related information, like your IFC person, IFC organization, and your address, and your maybe application or the file location in your computer. And the second part is for anonymize some product information used in IFC file, IFC model. Maybe it's anonymized by apply a replace rule. For maybe you replace the manufacturer brand name or the product model name, and that is for now. I think it's in some cases we need to anonymize this kind of product information for some design competition. And I think that's it for the GUI. That's all for the GUI IFC Toolbox application. Since I have mentioned, IFC Toolbox is also an open resource library in GitHub. We made some quick recipes for each single tool in IFC Toolbox. It's extremely simple. You put one file with the file path, you make one configuration object, then you put those two together in one line code, it's done. Let's check it out. Here is the same function as the first IFC optimizer. You take the file path, and you make a configuration for optimization, and one line path for process. It's done. And this one is for convert IFC to OBJ. Same logic. You can choose. I turn on the Y-axis for app. I use element name and make it down the process converter processor. One line code is done. Same to CSV. You choose your bound. You choose join the door arc. Maybe you exclude entities like IFC opening elements. You choose the convert target format as the CSV. You process, done. You get the idea. So it's quite simple. Each thing we made an example in GitHub. This is for anonymized user information. 4 line, down. And the last one example is for anonymized product information with some rules. This is nothing complicated. All the example are in our GitHub repo. You can just search IFC Toolbox in GitHub. And I think it will be interesting to talk a little about how IFC Toolbox is designed, because after I released the first GUI version application, I have received a lot of comments related to the UI UX design. I'm actually glad to see people like it, and I want to share with you this part of journey and this part of story. Actually, the entire application is based on 3 rules, which I made before I started the development. First is simplicity matters, because of we want to solve questions not just at the technical level. We want people feel comfortable and make something easy to use. As you see, we made a very clear structure and layers in the interface, which will guide user for quickly understand every action need to be made in each step. And secondly, we want user just use this tool. After they use, close it immediately. No login, no ads, no other things which maybe bother user from their main task. People's time is valuable. I don't want users spend hours in this application. If we can do a task with just 1 click, we will never make you click twice. And the third one, I'm a minimalist. So we want to create a one direction step-based workflow with a nature sense. We don't want you to learn how to use a tool. And for now, it seems works very well. I have not written a single page for explain how to use these tools, and until now we got 0 question related to this. It's all straightforward, and there is more than these 3 rules. The entire design is based on Fluent design system. It's a thing from Microsoft, and the interface go along with your system sim. All interaction is optimized for touchscreen and different device size. And for make this more humanity, we provide the same accessibility for user with who maybe with limited sight, because according to a research, there is almost 77% of male have some sort of color deficiency. So pay attention to your eyes, guys. And that's it. Let's talk later about the technical side. For technical side, we have developed a GUI framework based on data-driven user interface and modularity components. We generate UI control by data and assemble those control in each tools page. After that, the whole app is using Uno platform for cross-platform experience. For now, we have already completed the UWP version Windows app desktop application, and we will lift the application to browser in future, maybe using the WebAssembly. It's interesting. You may wonder why we made this kind of choice. The first reason is security. We all know in maybe in this industry how privacy is important in many cases. For example, bidding activities, design competitions, or maybe just for a nuclear station project. The security is kind of the first thing I need to consider it. Therefore, make IFC Toolbox run locally. It's actually my first choice. And there is no doubt that most of users are currently using Windows, for which all of those users, a native Windows desktop application absolutely is in my first release. And the second, when you're using a web app based on WebAssembly technology, our process will run locally in your computer. You are actually caching the application in your browser when you first load the web page. And after that, you will have the same experience as using a desktop application. so your file will never leave your computer. And because there is no file uploading and no need to download the result file from the server, this process will be faster. And finally, the most important thing is this kind of approach does not require us to spend money on a large server. It will just need a small static server for the storage of the application. User will use their CPU and their memory for the computation process. Since there is no cost for us to provide big computation power for everyone, then we will not charge users. By this way, even as a web app in the future, we think we could keep it run free. And actually, for the next, I found this sentence from the roadmap page of Blender BIM add-on. I think this quite exactly we want to accomplish to make a native IFC application. And I think I have talked with Mr. Diomot earlier this month. First, I think we'll take advantage of all existing tools in IFC OpenShell, like IFC CSV, IFC Clash, IFC Diff, and maybe integrate Python for delivery those tools in the IFC Toolbox. On the other hand, we will continually expand and optimize the GUI framework. There are already tons of good IFC tools open resourced in GitHub. They just need a simple way to reach more end user. We will take the last step to power app no-code user. And we know this is still a long way to go, and we are just about the very beginning. And let me show off all of those people who helped me to make this happen. 于切、黄浩、Philippe Bahaya 和 Hugo Delorme 石思雨、乌木达科、Laurie Gas、尹可可、申伟礼、卢涵、简汤、哲章、卢晨。And thank you all, as well as those wonderful people who come from the community. They are working on translate IFC Toolbox to other language. Maxime Jaya for French, Yu Qie for Chinese, Roche Valgas for Portuguese, and Dr. Odilo Schach for German, Lorenzo Macchi for Italian. Thanks you guys again. Finally, if you want to be part of IFC Toolbox, you can help us make some more tools in GitHub, or just download the app, try it, leave us a review, or just give us some feedback by joining our Discord channel. I will also put those links in the chat. Thank you all. And Ioannis, stage back to you.
Thanks, Yush. Let's just jump into questions. If anyone has a question for you.
Yes. I have a question.
Yeah.
So about the IFC optimizer, first of all, very interesting work, everything. I think this is great to see, let's say, this great UX and great tools. So let's say about the IFC optimizer, because there are also some, let's say also IFC OpenShell has something that does this, and it happened also that I have looked into it also. But is it, let's say, something that is it complete in your opinion? So that takes into account, let's say, all the possible doubles that can exist in a file, or it does some choices, let's say, or what I don't know what can be, let's say, what is the algorithm behind it?
Actually, let me show
and the challenges, let's say, more the challenges to make it, let's say, what have been the challenges?
Yeah, the biggest challenge for IFC optimizer is actually to find the relative entities for each level of IFC entity. For me, you need to find which entity who using IFC point. And for all of those local placement, you need to find all of those related entities. It's quite hard. And basically, I'm using XBIM for this part of job. But I have helped them to complete the algorithm for the point list, but because there is a tip point list 3D in FC4. So it's kind of hard. It's taken me almost 2 weeks, but yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's when you're talking about the web app, would that mean you're moving to multi-platform support? I appreciate, as you say, that Windows.
Sure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the timeline, or where is that on your list of priorities?
First, I think it's make because the Uno platform, it's just do the heavy lifting. We make entire application based on .NET, and when we done for Windows app, it's all done for other platform. Let's say for Android and iOS, it can run, but it just needs a little adaptation. So for me, it's maybe I continue to make more tools until maybe middle next year, and in Q3 in next year, maybe we will lift it all of those tools to web application, because and it's not just Windows in the market. So we want to provide this to Mac, to Android, and iOS. It's the best way to the easiest way is just upload to a server and use WebAssembly for the user.
I think you'll find that Dion and Johannes and I, we're on Linux a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that means you'll be able to implement it in Mono instead, or do you have a plan for supporting Linux?
Let me show you the screen. Actually, it's Linux, and it's Uno platform. It's using Scala. So basically, it's possible, but I don't know. I should continue working on different Linux and Mac, or just do a web app. It's well available for everyone.
Yeah. Someone got a question before my next question. What can you tell us about who you've heard from? Like, who has started using this, and what sort of questions are they coming to you with, and what sort of examples? I just have to say from the beginning, unfortunately, my own employer blocks me from installing things from the Microsoft App Store, so we might have to talk about that afterwards. But it looks like exactly the type of thing I've been waiting for me to be able to take a lot of these open source tools that I've been reading about and talking to Dion Mold and hearing about XBIM and all these things, and packaging them in a way that I can have on my computer and I can show it to the person next to me. So when they have a problem, I can say, well, have a look, there's a function here. You just have to click these things, give it your file, and you're away. Yeah. Instead of me having to learn in the command line how to do these things. So I think that's great, and I really look forward to you bringing more user interface friendliness to these very powerful tools, which we know are in the background. So that's just great. So yeah, who have you heard from, and what are they using it for?
I heard some people from Vinci Construction France, which like BIM coordinator and BIM managers who using to align some model which exported by different coordinate system. And I have received some user case from architecture groups, which architecture will participate a lot of competition designs or bidding activity. In this case, it's just cannot upload IFC with all those user information inside the file. So for now, it's those two which is used the most. and some people which using IFC convert to make IFC in OBJ, maybe in before I've used this for Unity, make some interaction 4D, maybe model in Unity faces.
To be honest, I think IFC convert can be more useful for a developer.
Yeah.
Because it was in the table that you showed with all the options from IFC convert, and so it is great, let's say, to even as a developer, and it was nice to see also the examples after that you showed.
Mm-hmm.
It is great that as a developer you can also use it, let's say, directly the logic of your user interface. You can use it in an implementation, let's say, with code.
Yeah, but it's made for this. So I'm not sure. Maybe I need to package this in a Revit plugin or something else. But for now, I think we will continue to make more tools in the toolbox. Maybe it's for later. So easy implement.
And if I remember correctly, you have a slot at the Building Smart conference, right? Are you presenting?
Yeah. Actually, I have spoiled a lot of things for Building Smart Summit this evening.
Yeah. When you we must remember to put up the link when they usually publish them sometime after the conference, so we'll have to put the link up for everyone else to watch as well. It looks like Nigel, you've got a question.
Yeah, I do. Hey, thank you. As a no-code sort of a person, I really appreciate what you've done here. And because I'm a no-code sort of a person, would love to be though. I'm wondering, is there possibility in the future of making some sort of federation tool where we can bring IFCs together in this?
And actually, in my presentation, there is a conversation with Mr. Diomot. It's talking. He's talking the IFC merge tool. I think it's quite good. Next step, we'll consider it to maybe just using the IFC merge. It's already in IFC OpenShell to merge, create a beautiful user interface with maybe it's about GitHub. We know we have no idea for now, but it's a quite idea, and for sure we will try to make this happen in IFC Toolbox.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Have you started getting? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead.
I also have a question. I saw in the presentation that in your IFC convert, there's an option for SVG for sections and elevations. Does that mean that I can just load an IFC model and generate elevations from it?
Yeah, sure. It's made in IFC converter, the IFC OpenShell CI tool, IFC convert. You can just take the IFC model and decide what height of level you want to extract. When you're done, it's just give you a SVG file of the 2D plant in this stage. It's quite easy. Try it.
Okay, perfect. Because I thought that Dion said it was not that easy to generate elevations and that he's kind of struggling with it in Blender BIM. But
yeah, and maybe I can show you the actual actor work directly.
In the meantime, a completely unrelated question. When you talk about a web app, you mean HTML5, or what do you mean exactly?
It's WebAssembly. It's WebAssembly. It's just it's like a desktop app, but it's run in your browser. You just cache all of those files, which from our static server, and you run locally. So, yeah, it's called WebAssembly.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. I have got some files. Maybe here. I just use the sample house I used in. No, sorry for that. It's not converter. Sample house. Let me choose SVG, and then maybe we'll join .arc 2, and let's do it. Convert. File is there, and if you click Save Files, maybe in the debug folder. Yeah, here is your SVG file. Sorry, it's opening in my other screen.
Oh,
It's
wow.
just
Cool.
it's just like this. It's IFC OpenShell is cool because IFC
Really?
OpenShell is cool.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Okay. All right. Got another questions?
Another vote from here that IFC OpenShell is cool.
Yeah. It's just complex, but cool. Really cool.
What sort of contributions have you had from other people? Have you started getting some pull requests and people adding? I don't know. Do you call them recipes? I don't remember if you had a name for each new function.
Yeah. For now, I have not got some pull request. I have some bug report, but not yet for some new function.
But it's great. I mean, it's great that you've set it up in such a way that it'll make it very easy for people to add extra functionality. So if they've got a bit of .NET know-how, they can expand the tool for all of us. It was GPL, right? What was the license?
It's the same LGPT. It's the same as IFC OpenShell.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have talked to BIM manager. Maybe it will package all of those IFC tools in Revit as a plugin. So yeah.
That could be interesting. Wouldn't it be interesting to have a good IFC export from Revit? But we're getting up to the hour. What do people have some other questions? Otherwise, we'll start rounding this off and might have an informal chat afterwards. But have people got some other questions for Yoush? Johannes?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
It has been great.
Thank you.
And Nigel says thanks. Okay.
Thanks.
This is great. It'll be really interesting to hear how the project is received at the Building Smart conference.
Yeah.
Interesting. Always interesting to hear the whether we can hear the big software people shaking in their boots and wondering whether they're relevant or whether they start getting annoyed or what happens. I'm not quite sure. I'd love to hear those discussions. So good luck with that. I hope you win a prize.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks very much for coming today.
Thank you very much, Yousheng. It was a very nice presentation, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.